Welcome to the Star Wars Extravaganza Bowl, Dude Soup.
Hey.
Just so you guys are temporarily aware of what's going on. We're recording this before the holidays because we're taking a nice little time out with our family and friends and loved ones.
Siesta, as the Germans call it.
Honestly, we're only taking a week off. It's really not that much.
It feels like a lot.
Most people around us are taking a lot less.
Most people get 2 days off. I've only ever got 2 days.
That's not true.
That's not true at all.
Yeah, they get more than that. They get Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's Day typically.
I like how
working holiday sucks, and I'm sorry.
I like how sometimes you'll say something about something you personally experienced, and then people will say, "You are wrong." And I'm like, I didn't
you
know.
had more than 2 days last year.
Yeah,
off.
last year. I'm referring to last year. So if
Lawrence came into the office by himself.
My personal experience is your personal experience, which is the only reason I'm cutting in.
I've had other jobs.
He means
none
other
of you were there
jobs,
for.
Yes.
Fuck me. I'm
I
talking in
could've
the
been
real
there.
world where people
The
don't get
problem
paid
is-
to play
the
video
problem
games all
is
day.
The statement you made was, I've never had more than 1 week off.
James is right.
I don't think I said that.
That's exactly what you
did
said.
say that.
Let's roll it back.
That's the only
that's
reason I
not.
stepped in.
Please don't go back.
Oh, it's a podcast. We're not rolling back anything.
Lawrence, what are we talking about today?
Well, take a fucking guess. Star Wars. So,
Should we give a fair warning to the
yeah, let's
listeners?
do
Spoilers!
I mean,
Spoiler
it's
shit.
basically
I
just
was
for
going to say
school.
90% of the Earth should have seen it by now.
Yeah,
based
that's
off the
the
amount of money
reason
it's made.
we delayed it. We wanted to give all you guys hero token.
Come on, get it!
I still haven't fucking played as a
Well,
hero.
Oh, you just got one.
Oh, yeah.
Layout.
Shoot.
Woo!
One of
No
the
one
3
picks
heroes.
Layout.
Woo!
I have yet to do this, by the way,
It's
in the
awesome.
game.
It's
I've yet to do it.
awesome.
Have fun.
Plays the
Have fun
claymation.
looking.
Well, why don't you
Sex
just
doll.
crawl underneath the sandcrawler?
Because I don't know where they are.
You
just saw. guys.
Because, you know why? Because I'm running to the objective, not hiding under a sandcrawler. They never put them on the way to the objective.
Hey, Lawrence, should you let the audio listeners know that we're playing Halo?
We're playing Battlefront. Yeah,
Oh.
we're playing Halo 5
Yeah.
and Luke Skywalker, Halo 5, Luke Master Chief. So we're assuming you guys have seen the movie. If you haven't, don't complain
Go kill them all.
because Jesus Christ, we gave you fair warning, and you've had what 2 weeks at this point? Come on.
Where'd he go?
Come on. All right, so that's just Star Wars discussion, huh? How about
Yeah.
that Star Wars?
What do you want to talk about?
Force push him.
Well, let's
Oh,
see.
yeah.
I guess we can. I don't know. General impressions. That's easy to start with, but
Sure.
but you know what? That's too easy. Fuck it. What one thing were you guys most impressed with the new film? And I know that's a really positive prompt, but fuck it. I think we all like it. That's pretty well known.
Did anyone in here not like the movie? I think we all walked away pretty positive. We all saw it, at least 2 times?
I've only seen
Yeah.
it once.
James,
Fled.
get out.
It's not the thing I thought was coolest.
All right.
But the thing I was most impressed with was the acting.
Oh.
The acting was
It was very good.
fucking
Yes.
great.
Yeah, I'm going to agree.
Okay.
Especially Oscar Isaac. Well, no, fuck it. They're all
No,
good.
no.
They're all
Yeah.
fucking good. They're all amazing.
Bruce and I went and saw it in Austin they did a Rooster Teeth screening. My favorite thing about this movie is the fact that you can get a bunch of nerds in a room together and they'll stand in the hallway and talk for about 2 hours and speculate about what's going to happen next. And I think that's kind of the perfect marriage of this universe and J.J. Abrams and what Disney's doing and what they've learned with Marvel. And that, like, now all of a sudden we're very interested in what's going to happen in this world. Like, Jack was throwing out wild theories that I was just like, and Blaine was giving out some really crazy stuff, and I was like, I don't know, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And this is the first time where we've got to experience like Star Wars movies in real time, in a way that like we don't really know where they're going.
It's like being
That's
in
cool.
between the Harry Potter books again, like where you don't know, like you have no idea where it's going. Like even with the prequels when they were coming out and they sucked,
You knew how it ended.
you knew how it was going to end.
Yeah.
And with this, like you don't know what's going to happen, and that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that was the sort of thing. And goddamn, yeah,
No, it's cool, right? All the mysteries are appropriately seated too.
Oh, boy,
You're not.
go.
It doesn't feel cheap. Some movies that try to leave open ends, or even TV shows, will very blatantly have mystery slapping you in the face. This seemed contextual. It seemed mostly like a contained story, but there are also a lot of little bits that don't make they weren't fully explained, and that's fine because they didn't need to be.
I guess my question for the room was: there anything that you guys didn't like?
I didn't like what may be indicated due to the choice of plot. So kind of the fact that episode 1, 2, and 3 they took a chance. You know, they told a story that was alluded to in the Star Wars franchise. Also, I apologize. I had surgery on my mouth, and so
He had shit ripped out of his face.
Oh, they're gonna apologize for only seeing the movie once and trying to talk with any sort of authority. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I was being a dick. I'm being a dick.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I know. We all know.
Console!
But
When nerds talk about
I'm
Star
not
Wars.
crazy about the indication, and I will have to wait until episode 8 comes out to have a full concept of how I feel about episode 7, because if they made a movie that is an exact beat for beat recreation of A New Hope, because they were afraid that if they didn't make a movie that people were already familiar with, that people would get upset, that's bad.
I feel you.
And so if they make another one that also looks like a Star Wars movie we've seen before, and they don't use this as kind of the way comics use retcons to like try something new or build off a new exciting storyline or whatever, if they don't do that, then it is to me it's kind of a waste of a movie.
So were you concerned that the movie was too similar in terms of like pacing and scenes to A New Hope?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And plot wise, well, my big thing was narratively, like why. Like wasn't really getting narrative reasons for why it was so similar to the movie, like within the context of the world.
So I think from a narrative point of view, it's so similar because one of the themes of Star Wars is
Nice.
Get it!
is this like the sins of the father are visited on the sins of the son. I think that generations repeating the mistakes of the past is a real hallmark of the Star Wars franchise. Additionally, I think you could argue, the Force is doing it. Like the Force is like repeating things until things are right.
A wizard did it.
From an outside of lore perspective, I think, they wanted to appeal to hardcore fans, but more importantly, I think that they wanted people who were who didn't care about the prequels, who don't really care about Star Wars. They wanted to give them a really satisfying movie experience, and that's what the original Star Wars was a really satisfying movie experience.
No, I get that. So again, basically Mad Max came out and ruined me for all movies. Because Mad Max is not only the ultimate sequel, is not only the ultimate reboot of a franchise and a throwback, it is also a fantastic movie that stands on its own. So you don't have to have seen any of the Mad Max movies to get anything out of Mad Max, but they didn't just make Mad Max again, right?
But Mad Max isn't burdened by the same amount of cultural weight that Star Wars is.
I get it, except that they made a point of saying, hey, all that extra bullshit is null and void. You only need to worry about the important stuff.
Kind of. So I feel like what Force Awakens did was basically that thing Bruce always talks about where, pleasing everyone is really hard to do. And this is one of those movies where, you're fucked.
Oh, I got you with a grenade!
Star Wars is just one of those things that it crosses all cultures, it crosses all languages. It is this thing that is, you don't need to be American to enjoy Star Wars. You don't need to be Chinese. It's just something that all people kind of universally love. It's a strange thing. And what they had to do was bring back a franchise that hasn't been in the theaters. I'm not talking about the Clone Wars movie, that hasn't been in theaters for 10 years, and remind people that this is still a relevant series while appeasing a lot of the jaded asshats like us who are like, please make it good. And then at the same time, they can't disavow the prequels because it's still a Lucas property, and there's still a lot of people they need to make happy on the studio side and in the fan side. So they accomplished it, which is fucking. Yeah. They should have failed.
Listen,
it should have failed.
I'm not saying they didn't make a good movie. I thought they made a great movie. I was saying to Bruce, I give it a 8 or 9 out of 10. Right? I enjoyed the whole thing the whole way through.
So,
but it's impossible. It's impossible to not watch it and go.
I have so James, I have a query for you. So one thing I'm fascinated with when it comes to narratives that last this long is the reuse of theme or the reuse of plot device. And I started to notice that when I started getting into Sentai. You definitely noticed it. Every series kind of hits the same notes, but it gets through those notes in different ways. And at a certain point, even those differences are what matter. And it's almost like Zelda. Every Zelda has a Link, every Zelda has a Ganon, every Zelda has an Impa now. There are certain things that are repeated, but it's the differences that kind of make them stand out. So to me,
the hero's journey.
Yeah, the hero's journey was identical in this, down to the point where she rejected her destiny and then was forced to embrace it because she had a point of no return. That I thought was a little on the nose, but the tweaks are really interesting to me. Where, Joel, like you said, one of the themes is that the sins of the father visited on the son, except it was the opposite this time around.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool. I thought that the tweaks were interesting. So, both movies start with stormtroopers coming out and then a Darth or a cloaked figure doing an interrogation to show how badass he is. But, it was the same but different. So A New Hope opens with Vader crushing a dude's neck with his bare hand. Fucking awesome. This one opens with Kylo Ren stopping a laser bolt and mid-flight with the Force.
And then
Also fucking
striking
awesome.
down an old man with
Yeah,
a claymore.
and then just massacring the whole town, which I think set the tone of the movie really well.
Well,
So,
the other thing too,
a little bit different.
I think one of the themes of the movie is they're acknowledging the previous movies, and then this is like a group of kids who are kind of like playing, putting on the big boy pants and sort of
Yeah.
like playing house in a weird way, where like Kylo Ren is just. Is that right?
geez.
Yeah, Kylo Ren. I always say
You always-
Rilo.
you say
I say
Rilo Ken,
Rilo Ken a lot. But Kylo Ren is kind of this weird, like
Yeah, he's playing
Vader,
dress up.
Yeah, he's like a Vader groupie, and he wears this helmet even though he doesn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he even says that one part to Vader, or Vader's helmet, grandfather, I want to, I want to finish your legacy. It's like, that's not what Vader wanted. You're just twisting it and skewing it to what you want or what you think he wanted. And it's sort of this weird thing. It's where it's just in human history. It's like we repeat history. And it's the same thing with the First Order. They're just doing what they thought the Empire wanted to do, even though they were destroyed by their own hubris. Like, it's just these sort of themes that are just kind of prevalent, and they will always repeat themselves. Very similar, like today, how, I don't know, like you can see a lot of similarities where we repeat a lot of the mistakes that people have made before us.
like releasing Star Wars Battlefront with no single-player campaign.
Jeez.
So what you mentioned, I think, is really important. One of the
Oh!
there's not a whole lot of like rewriting Star Wars lore in this movie, but the one thing that is sticking in my mind more and more is gosh, what's her name? Kaz something, the bartender lady.
Maz.
Maz Kanata?
Maz.
Something like that.
Maz Kanata.
Maz Kanata. She goes on her thing, basically saying like, I've seen the dark side in a million different
walked right in front
forms
of
through
it.
the ages.
Damn it.
Sometimes it's the Sith, sometimes it's the Empire.
Yeah.
And I think what they're trying to do is abstract the light side and dark side from Force users to say that people can be light side or dark side, and I think that was also represented in Finn, who is not a Force user, but people who use the Force immediately noticed him because I think he's got the light side in him, and that he doesn't have to be a Jedi to be part of the light. And I thought that was pretty cool that they're now making dark side and light side more of a universal concept rather than just a Force concept. And even though the Force is universal too, so I thought that was kind of cool. That now it's just like if you were evil, you're part of the dark side. You don't have to be a Sith. And in fact, the Sith didn't really come up all that much, which I thought was also pretty cool.
I guess that was kind of a confusing thing because I always thought the Sith were like the anti-Jedi.
Yeah.
But the way they kind of refer to them, they're like, before I guess in the Old Republic and stuff like that, the Sith were like that was essentially the Empire, right? Was it?
Well, I don't know. I think they were just a faction. They were just like a religious faction.
Yeah, I don't
They
think
had their
I think-
beliefs about how the Force should be used.
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess,
I don't think that there was like an empire before. I mean, well,
It's hard to say
all the
'cause-
canon's been thrown out.
Yeah, I know because there's the whole thing. Yeah, there was the expanded universe no longer exists, so I don't know what's what. Not that I was really big on that anyway. You killed that. man.
Oh,
What?
come on.
No way.
10L. Fuck
There,
you,
you're dead.
War boy.
Fuck you.
Got him.
Speaking of Mad Max,
What?
Warboy.
He said the phrase "war boy."
The character's name is War Boy.
Good reference.
I don't know. I didn't see any of the other Mad Maxes. I've only
This is
seen.
not-
Don't. We're just
Never
taking a
mind,
whole
forget
deeper.
it.
Just,
Right,
let's move
Star
on.
Wars.
Yeah. Anyway, Star Wars is good. Fuck, I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to
So,
say. Now
so
it's the end of
I
the
guess
day and
I
I'm
guess
tired.
what I'm trying to I guess kind of what I'm trying to build on is that like there's this plan. The Empire had this plan once to
Blew
build a
up.
large spherical thing
Yeah.
that blew up planets, right? That didn't work,
Yeah, it wasn't big enough.
and so they built a bigger one.
Yeah.
Before it was even done, someone blew it up, right? So their plan of action was, let's build a bigger one. And let's also house most of our headquarters there now, too. So that way it's like, not only like it's our planet, but it's also a big thing that blows up planets.
Well,
And then it got blown up.
yeah, but also at the same time too, they introduced.
That's
this,
not thematic. I guess what I'm saying is
I
that's not
see.
thematic
So
repetition.
The set pieces are not diverse enough?
That's the same thing again.
Yeah, I
An
mean,
X-wing
you could
desperately
say-
with one last chance going in and blowing up a planet with a couple missiles is the same thing that's happened before narratively and in terms of cinematic event.
You're right, but like if you look at our history of war, it's like, all right, we had boats, and then we had bigger boats, and then we had really, really, really big boats that could have planes on them, and now we've got giant boats with planes and missiles on them and stuff. So like, it in that way, like as humanity, we're guilty of the same thing, man.
I don't know that
Why
that's
not?
the same at all.
It's totally the same.
I think the difference is, there's boats. Now we have atomic bombs.
That we
Like-
can launch from other boats.
Yeah, which is already what the Death Star was doing.
but
To me, it was like, I think J.J. Abrams, awesome director, by the way. I think he's, with the exception of, was it 8mm, which I
Super
wasn't
8.
really crazy about.
Super 8.
Super 8. I think that
8mm
he's
is a
he
snuff
he
film.
just he
Is
just
that a Nick Cage movie?
it
Yeah.
is He just kills it almost every single time.
Yeah.
And he's a great filmmaker in that he makes movies that you're supposed to go to a theater to watch, kind of like Christopher Nolan. I do think though that he was like, I think he was more scared of the critical Star Wars fanboy push up their glasses and be upset at almost everything,
Which he
than
is.
He shouldn't have been, right?
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I totally respect the fact that, like, for the most part you really like the movie, and you're just like, you found the one niggling doubt that you don't care for.
And again, if they go into episode 8,
No.
and they basically they make a whole new exciting experience, right? That is like, okay, it was like the first episode of a new season of Super Sentai or Power Rangers or whatever. Like it was similar because it had to be, right?
So, but my point is, like, you've seen, like, in the last basically year and a half, I've actually seen a ton of articles that have said, in defense of the prequels, here's why the prequels.
Oh, yeah.
No, seriously,
No,
here's
yeah,
why the
no,
prequels
no, no,
weren't
no.
so bad.
Prequel apologists are the worst.
And what they basically say is, yeah, there was a lot of shitty stuff, there was shitty acting, but at least they were trying something different. And my response to that is, trying something different for the sake of trying something different doesn't mean anything to me. So if it's trying something different in order to tell a different story, that's interesting, and, like, you're taking it in a different direction, and, like,
What am I
you're
doing?
introducing new things. That's cool. But I don't think that this movie needed to do that, and I think that if your concern is, oh, they didn't try something different because I wanted to see something different, if you had said, I wanted them to try something different to, like, launch a totally different story, that's fine. But they're not launching a new story. They're continuing a story that already existed.
Yeah, which is arguably the hardest job, and I actually feel kind of bad, not bad, but I think J.J. Abrams will end up looking at it like he had the hardest job. Like, he has to set the precedent for this universe. Not that it's just him. I know there's a lot of people involved, obviously, but the fact that, like, you have to go in and go, okay, we basically have to remake New Hope and Empire in one movie, and kind of fix some of the bullshit that what Lucas kind of did. Like, I'll just say it, like, Solo should have died a long time ago. Like, the fact that he's lived this long is like, thank you, finally someone fucking killed him. Like, and it was sad, yes, don't get me wrong, like, he's a beloved character, but, like, the fact that he had lived as long as he did, like, it needed to be fixed at some point. He should have been dead at the end of Jedi at the latest, but
By the way, Bruce, you were fucked.
At the end of
Yeah.
Well, I
Empire,
know.
you
There's
mean.
no way you're
no, I mean, like, he should have died in Empire. At the very least, he should have died in Jedi.
Oh, man,
somewhere.
I don't know about that.
He's that character that should have.
Well,
he
Adam and
would
I
redeemed
have
himself.
also just watched a documentary where Harrison Ford did a bunch of interviews and said, I should have fucking died.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't even
Yeah.
know why I
When-
came
So
back.
this
when
is-
the
it's like-
actor, the director, and the writer are all going, yeah, thematically, this character should die, and Lucas goes, no, more toys.
Well,
Like,
and,
okay.
and again, just to explain
Well, that's
why,
not what he
the
did.
reason.
That's not what he did, though. He didn't say
well,
no
no, he said I
more
want to be
toys.
be kid friendly. I don't want him to be sad.
But their arc was still
Well, no,
really
but also
good.
he wanted to be cool. But
With
the
Leia, him.
reason it's so compelling to have Han Solo die as a character is, whether it's in the original trilogy or whenever, is because he's somebody who would experience the greatest character arc in the entire movie, going from somebody who doesn't care about anybody but himself, is only in it for the money, and wants to fucking leave, to literally giving everything he has to give in the service of a greater cause than himself.
Right. And
That's why it's a compelling arc, and that's why I would agree that it would have been amazing if he had died earlier in the series.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so they had to get all that out of the way. So now, and, like, I don't want to sound like a film apologist, because I'm with James, where, like, I can't make any sort of judgment calls until the next two movies are out, and I don't know what they're going to do. I'm excited that Rian Johnson is making it. He's a fantastic director. If you haven't seen Looper, go see it. And the episodes of Breaking Bad that he did are fantastic, and
Lawrence
a
Olivier.
bunch of other stuff, Brick and stuff. But so I think now that they got that out of the way, they got those, like, hey, this is Star Wars, remember? Now they have free reign to kind of do whatever they want. And my feeling is that the next movie will be different and will appease the James Willems of the world, where you don't have to redo the same thing. You don't need the Death Star. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'll
I
let you spun in there.
absolutely hope so.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that this is what I came out of the theater feeling.
Totally.
I hope that they aren't being Marvel. It was my thing. I hope that they're not Marvelifying this, and they're like, we're gonna play it safe every single time. Every single time we gotta play it safe, and then the movies are all gonna start looking similar, and then we're like, well, why did we wait for more Star Wars movies for so long anyway?
The funny thing is, I didn't think it was a Marvel movie until the very, very end. And again, this is a spoiler-rich
yeah.
podcast.
That felt narratively justified, though.
Not at all to me. We talked
was
about
wrong
this
with
this
it?
morning.
What?
So when
When Luke
I
shows
watched
up?
it, yeah, I like that Luke shows up. I want him to show up early. But when I watch a Star Wars movie, it's a complete story. None of the Star Wars movies, for the most part.
Except for Empire.
Well, it is and it isn't. Like
Empire's not a complete story. It's just not, and it leaves you on one of the biggest cliffhangers of all time.
Yeah,
in
no
history.
kidding.
So it's not.
it does, it does, but it's a satisfying ending. And to me, like,
I think
100%
it's a
disagree.
satisfying ending because the third one's already out.
Yep.
It's a tough thing. I was reading this.
Yeah.
Someone posting their comments about.
I would
this
be
saying,
fucking pissed.
Well,
Yeah.
my mom was fucking pissed. My mom
Yeah.
doesn't love. She doesn't even
Yeah.
like Star Wars.
Well,
She was
I
like,
don't-
"What the fuck?"
I don't think any of us had to experience the original trilogy.
No, we didn't.
No.
Incomplete. We were like, crap, what happens? Well, I'll just wait till Sci-Fi airs the next episode. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Imagine, I feel bad for the generation that had to wait, whereas like episodes 1, 2, and 3, I didn't give a fuck. I was like, I know it's gonna happen. Who cares?
But my point is that the story of episode 5 is right. Is the Empire Strikes Back, right? And everybody accomplishes what they set out to accomplish in that movie, for the
Including
most
Vader.
part. For the most part.
Well, then they did accomplish exactly what they in Force
No,
Awakens.
they didn't.
Yeah, they
The whole
find
point of the
Luke.
movie was to find Luke.
And they did.
They
and,
did.
like-
They found him.
Ta-da!
I don't know. I mean,
Are you gonna be there day one for the next one for episode 8?
to me,
obviously.
So to
but-
me,
I gotcha.
There's a difference between saying the beginning of the opening scene of the movie is we got to find Luke Skywalker, right? By the end of the movie, having all the tools to do so, and then finding him at the very last scene of that movie. That to me doesn't feel like you started anything new. You kind of wrapped off. It was a fair payoff. The difference there is at the end of Ant-Man again. No,
Goes
but
back to
It's fine.
Ant-Man.
I know.
no, but I'm
Hates
saying
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man is a perfect example. Going, oh, by the way, there was a suit for the chick the whole time.
Right.
Just so that way you can go,
Oh.
the Wasp, and everyone can clap in the theater. It's like, where was that fucking suit before? Like, you just had a suit hanging out? Like, this has
he
no.
didn't-
this
he
has
was
no
trying to
stakes in
protect
the
his
narrative.
daughter.
I didn't see it.
I guess the
spoiler.
difference there is
I don't
here's
fucking
Ant-Man,
care.
a thing that like
The whole
almost
arc of the movie
no
was
one
him
gives a
letting
shit
go of
about.
his control issues.
Well, here, by the way, I
that plays
100%
into
agree
that.
with you, and I think what you're trying to communicate is that I was unsatisfied with the climax of the film, Force Awakens, because it was a bunch of shit we'd already seen.
Yeah.
So no bad guy died, nobody died, and the planet that blew up, it didn't matter because this is the third time we've seen that happen.
And they all got
Yeah.
away, apparently.
And they didn't even kill off, because, like, if you think about A New Hope, there's at least
They killed
Moff
off Tarkin, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now they had new Tarkin, right?
Yeah, man. New Tarkin's
fucking
so great.
awesome.
He was
Weasley
fucking
Tarkin
awesome.
or whatever.
Sure.
I would like to see
Dax,
more of
Jax,
him.
something like that.
But the problem is, I was like,
Hux,
oh, well,
that's it,
he's
General
I was
Hux.
like, he's the new Tarkin, so he'll be the one who dies. But then he's like, I'm gonna get in the shuttle. Like, maybe he flew away.
So nobody died, and actually, I think they established Adam Driver as a really evil villain.
Yeah.
Whereas Darth Vader wasn't that evil in A New Hope.
No, he was just
Darth
really
Vader killed a
imposing.
dude with his bare hands.
Yeah, but
he's
so
a bad
Adam,
guy.
So Adam Driver killed a bunch of people with his bare hands, and
and
was,
stabbed his
like
dad
threatened to
with
rape
fucking ass.
Ray. So like, there's a
Mind
bunch
rape.
of terrible
It was
things.
mind rape.
It's not so bad. No, it's terrible, by the way.
I was,
I was
gonna
just
say, that's pretty
joking.
bad.
I was fucking
Regardless,
joking.
he was established as a really badass, like kind of an asshole that was willing to do anything he wanted to.
but incomplete. Like, so I think they're going to go one of two ways with it, which both I'm okay with. It's either going to be nice kill.
You.
He's either going
Saw
to
that
eventually
sniping.
go to the light side
Motherfucker.
because he's the reverse of.
I really
Vader
hope
or any
that
other
doesn't
Sith,
happen.
Where he's like,
Holy shit.
He's
Me
like,
too.
huh?
I don't want another goddamn redemption story. Out of all the things that get recycled, that's the one thing I hope to God
Well,
doesn't happen.
Also, okay, and then in the beginning we find out that he's kind of a sniveling child, and he has all these weird temper tantrums.
fucking
that, like,
love
great.
him.
It's so good.
I saw someone describe it, and this perfectly describes him as Anakin done right.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, that's
this-
what we were saying this morning. right?
Yeah, this is the character that like I wanted Anakin to be, and now he has ascended. I think in the next one so go ahead and I think actually Bruce was saying in New Hope, yes, Vader is evil, but watch Empire, he's fucking ruthless.
Yeah, he is.
He's just telepathically force choking people on other ships and just being like, fuck
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Next, who wants this? And
Right.
he's just mowing people down.
Admiral
he,
Piet.
He chops his son's hand off after and then he's like, I'm your dad. Like, what an asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, you know what they call that? It's tough love, Adam.
it totally is. But like if watch New Hope and Empire and you can see Vader do that. I'm hoping that for Ben Solo, which is I guess totally dead now. It's totally Kylo Ren. He's ascended to the Sith, and now he actually needs to wear the mask because he has his face fucked up.
So
Like
Yeah.
this
If
is
we're
cool.
gonna get-
I think he's gonna be more.
He got his scar. He's becoming his
I think he's
grandpa.
gonna become more powerful. He's gonna get his full training from Snoke, and you're gonna see even crazier Sith.
I
Which I'm
think
excited
if we're gonna get into speculation zone,
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Should we do an ad read before we get there? Because we're like 30 minutes in.
Yeah,
You
sure.
have an ad read? You want me to do it?
I got it.
Okay.
Lawrence has got it. Don't worry about it.
Here.
They can do it. They can.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll play.
Lords.
Don't worry,
boy,
they-
he's a terrible
kills.
shot.
Oh, he's a really bad shot.
You
I'm the
away.
stormtrooper here.
Playing against
Oh, okay.
me.
I got it. Whoa.
So,
God, controller
sensitivity.
sucks.
ooh boy.
Stop it.
So we are currently in the process of fixing episode 7 because that's what we're doing. Oh my god.
That's true.
But perhaps you would like to fix a video game. Oh man. You have that opportunity now with Lenovo Gaming's Game State. We talked about this before on the podcast, but in case maybe you're not up to speed, this is a program that allows you to interact with developers real time as they build a game. Those developers are called the Dark Rift. They're pretty cool dudes. We've met with them twice now, and every time we learn so much about the reality of development. It's pretty incredible. But you can do that too. You can go to LenovoGameState.com, sign up, and leave your feedback on the game they're creating. It's like a hybrid tower defense game. So far, they've done mission 1. Essentially, they separate all the milestones of development into missions, and then you can give your feedback on each particular part. Good guys, bad guys, and weapons wrapped up. We actually got the developers' feedback. They said that the most constructive part of it was basically everyone said that they were on the right track, which it kind of sounds meaningless when you say it that way, like, oh, they just said everything was great. But moreover, they just got the confirmation that they were doing the right thing, which if you've ever made something, you're just kind of in this black hole doing your thing, and you start to wonder if the thing you're making is even good. So yeah, they were really good to get that feedback. And now they want to encourage you to go to LenovoGameState.com and join in on Mission 2, which is called Defend Your Territory. Essentially, this has a bunch of fly-throughs through the levels to actually see the environments that the game is going to run on, and you can give your environment or your feedback about that. Is it too blue? Is it too red? Is it not blue enough? These are the kinds of...
Or is it too easy or too hard? You could say that too.
Yeah, there's no gameplay yet, but you can still say that. That's fine.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of amazing feedback you can leave, and they would love your feedback there. So you can do it on Twitter or Facebook using the hashtag GameState or at LenovoGameState.com. You can also check a link in the description on this video if you want to get involved with the program. But yeah, so they're building that on Lenovo Y Series gaming computers, and those are actually we've had a chance to mess around with one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's cool. Adam,
I'm putting Photoshop and stuff on it, like literally right now, and I'm installing Fallout. I'm gonna see how well it plays.
cool.
Because
All right.
I need my Fallout on the go.
I thought Metal Gear was going to be the first one on tap.
I did try it. Yeah. I think I'm going back into Fallout mode.
Don't
so.
shoot me down, and I won't shoot you down.
Yeah, we
Okay,
go.
bro.
But yeah, so thanks again, Lenovo, for providing. Oh, little Java's running out. For providing this unique opportunity to actually get involved on the ground level with the game's development. So you guys can get a first-hand look at how nearly impossible this really is.
Mm-hmm.
Put your keyboard where your mouth is, huh?
Games are hard.
Yeah, they are. All right, well, thanks again, Lenovo. God, where were we?
Joel was just about to speculate.
No, we're getting into speculation station.
So okay, I'm gonna put a bookmark in this. It doesn't have to be now.
Okay.
But I've heard some pretty spicy speculation about Kylo
Me
Ren.
too.
So
Wait, I want to hear your spicy speculation.
okay, so this.
I just wanted to intro the fact that we're going into speculation mode.
All right, spicy
Out of
mode.
review into speculation.
Somebody said that this is.
What?
Kill that
Oh,
down
sorry.
there. No, it's okay. Somebody said that this basically originates from the EU, but it's a possible explanation for Kylo Ren's utter single-minded infatuation with the dark side. Somebody suggested that Kylo Ren might be paired with the Force with another Force user. In this case, it might be Rey. Apparently, there was a situation in the EU where, since the Force has to be balanced at all times, there was a character that knowingly immersed himself in the dark side to allow another Force user to be fully immersed in the light side. So it may be that Kylo Ren is actively miring himself in the dark side to prevent Rey or another Force user from having any of the darkness get to them.
But
So
why
it's-
would he do that?
Why'd he be so selfless?
So-
Well, he wouldn't do it. Snoke would be using.
Well,
him
not
for
that. No. Actually, my theory is that it goes back to Luke's New Jedi Order. My theory is that you would think if Kylo knew Rey, they would have a more meaningful interaction in this movie. But I think that maybe something like he was either mistakenly informed or has a misunderstanding of the Force or something like that. I think it would be kind of interesting if his character thought he was doing something right for the galaxy by being as dark as possible. He's like, no one else can handle this darkness, so I'll just invite it on myself because I can take it. And that may be why he there were a couple of things. Somebody suggested that he might wear the helmet because it makes him uncomfortable and in pain all the time, which helps
That's like
him.
when he hits his wound. In
Yeah,
the movie.
helps him focus on pain and focus on the dark side and all
They
that
do make a point
shit.
to show that helmet is really heavy
Yeah.
and that it weighs a lot. Which
I like
is
how there's a helmet ashtray in that room that he just slams it down into.
pretty fucking rad.
Yeah,
Everything was cool in that movie.
Put your cannon down.
I should.
Now, I
Oh,
guess
he's
the
shooting at me.
speculation I think comes down to is who is Rey? Like,
Sure.
is she right now that the hot ticket is it's Luke's daughter?
Yeah,
but
of course.
I don't believe that one because I'm like, I don't think Luke would have sex. I know he does in the EU with
Yeah.
Mara Jade and all that stuff, but like,
I can see him getting his bang on.
they made a. So here, you want to hear the fun one?
Sure.
Have you guys heard the clone theory? yet?
Midi-chlorian. Oh, that Rey's a clone of Luke.
Yeah.
Ah,
So this is a fun one. This comes from Blaine Gibson, everybody.
interesting.
I don't like this theory.
This actually, I don't really either. But I do like the fact that they point out, they do mention clones in the movie.
Yeah, they did.
So they,
Well, they're referring back to episodes 1, 2, and 3. But yeah,
well, I mean, even just episode 4, New Hope, when they, how the clone was, it's just a fucking throwaway.
Well, I
line.
liked it with Snide. As like your troopers can't handle it. Should we just get clones on this fucking shit?
Fuck was that dude? Some dude.
that's a new skin.
Oh, okay. I was like in the cantina.
Oh,
Nice.
Okay.
What's up? So this was a good point. We both Blaine and I watched the flashback scene very carefully this time.
Yeah, the flashback scene's really interesting.
And we were trying to catch a bunch of stuff because it comes out of nowhere when you watch the movie. You're like, what happened? What happened? And that's like, the whole thing Yoda says with the Force, you can see the past and see the future, and it just, it's all just fun stuff. But the point being the saber. The last time we saw that lightsaber, which they make a point of saying, they're like,
Bo-Katt's
this was Luke's and it was his dad's before that. And when you touched it, you had an emotion, you had a feeling. So I was like,
Force
okay,
vision, they call it.
like that was a little on the nose. Like, okay, I get it. It's a bloodline thing. The last time we saw that saber was in Luke's hand when it got chopped off in Empire Strikes Back. So whoever found that saber found his hand, and you could potentially go from there. Is that they try to clone Luke
Okay,
from the
interesting.
hand, and
Well,
that Rey could potentially be just female Luke.
Okay.
Interesting thought. I'm not crazy about that theory.
I think I think that's way too
complicated.
hope that
too
that isn't it,
wonky
because
for like modern fans.
That'll be a long crawl.
Yeah.
That sounds like a perfect extended universe novel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Um,
Not very
I like
approachable.
Adam's theory better.
Which was mine? My actual theory was I was saying because the way they framed the flashback and the way Kylo Ren is he obviously knows who she is. He knows who Rey is because he keeps going like, "Girl, what girl?" Like,
yeah.
And they show in that flashback that they kind of show the betrayal scene where the Knights of Ren betray Luke, or that you see that moment in all the rain and stuff. I'm pretty sure Rey was a young Padawan training with Luke before Luke was killed, and she probably showed the most promise, and so they hit her.
Yeah.
And that character, that older, what's the actor's name? Max.
Van Sydow.
Van Sydow. Yeah, he is like an Obi-Wan type character on Jakku who's watching over her, and that's why he has a map to Luke. So when she was ready, he would take her
Yeah.
to train with
I
Luke.
like that theory. It makes more sense.
And that's why, like, that look he has, I know the joke is like, oh, Luke didn't say anything, but like, that is like the look of utter sadness and like just a disappointment.
Oh yeah. Like holy shit, it didn't work.
Like a sad father of like, I'm happy to see you, but fuck, I'm so sorry. Like that looks like the most I'm sorry look.
Yeah.
And she clearly doesn't remember anything. So I don't know. Those are. I want to go with the second theory. I want to believe she's not related to anybody, and that maybe the Knights of Ren are all like really fucked up, like Luke clones.
So
That'd
do
be
you
cool.
think that ultimately the series is going to be about Kylo Ren's like redemption, or do you think it's going to be about Rey's becoming a Jedi?
It might be both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
Also, there's going to be a lot of badass Luke wizardry that we did not get in the first movie. That ultimately made the movie, to me, feel
I think
unsatisfying.
it's gonna be real goofy Luke wizardry.
No, I think it's going to be like Dumbledore versus Voldemort.
Well, more,
I think that's what it's going to be.
more fuel for Adam's theory, which I think. I mean, I
Wait,
don't.
which one's my theory? The Padawan one?
Yeah.
Okay,
That she is not necessarily tied to Luke by blood, but she is Jedi trained, and they left her there to hide her the same way Luke was hidden.
Sure.
They were like, "Where's another desert planet?" And so I think that also kind of none of us have really mentioned it. Bruce's complaint about the end kind of just being a little anticlimactic because it's things he had seen before. I totally get. That's kind of my big thing too. But I saw some people on the internet complain like, "Oh, how's she so good with a lightsaber?"
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe she'd been trained.
No, she
Maybe
wasn't that good.
Well,
She was
well,
okay.
one, maybe the lightsaber is so closely tied with force sensitivity.
Yeah, that's
that
what it
like who knows how much training it necessarily requires. Luke, the first time you see Luke using a lightsaber, he's already deflecting back like laser beams and stuff.
That's because of the Force.
Yeah.
Because he's being guided by the Force. So already that doesn't matter.
Well, she also showed that she knew how to use a staff,
Right, yes.
which gives me
Yeah.
hope that she's gonna have the double-sided saber in the next one. I think everyone's just kind of begging for that. That she has like, it'd be cool to see a Jedi with a Darth Maul style saber.
The other thing too
Like
is
Callista from
is-
Knights of the Old Republic.
Shut the fuck up.
on Kylo Ren's side of things, it didn't seem like he was trying to defeat her in that battle.
No.
He kept he
he
wanted
was
her
fighting-
to join him.
he was
That
trying to
the
Kind
whole
of
tempt her,
thing.
yeah.
defensively, like I mean, like there were like if you think what he did to Finn, when they were locked up like this, he was like, "All right, I'm just gonna burn you with
hurt
the
you,
exhaust,
yeah.
right? Like I'm just gonna do this, and then you'll drop it, right?" They were in the exact same showdown, and he didn't do that to her, you
Yeah.
know, and it lasted even longer. So I mean, like clearly he understands there's a relationship there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'd say. I think he obviously. I think it's two-sided. He remembers her. He had a. He told.
Lawrence, you're not gonna
Yeah,
get
this
this.
is not going well.
This
trying
is
to piss
this
him
is
off.
this is also really dumb, by the way.
I'm a stormtrooper.
It's super easy to
Yeah.
do this in a snowspeeder.
It goes to the last
and
10
you
seconds.
You can't
Well.
do anything
Well.
if you're just on the ground. Like you just.
Yeah, you just watch.
Also, I once we're talking about the snowspeeders in
I think smart rockets can
Battlefront,
hit 'em.
actually
the
causing the
legs.
walkers to fall down.
Yeah.
I had a homing rocket, like an ion rocket, and I couldn't shoot them because the homing targeting every single time it went behind
Oh,
the
yeah.
the AT-AT would just like get fucked up. It's just funny.
One of the things that I liked about Rey's battle with Kylo Ren was it felt to me a lot like she was like using the Force for the first exploring using the Force, and that's what was helping her, you know, really butt heads with him on an equal playing field. But it felt to me like she was tapping into the dark side of the Force. Like I felt like I could see that in her face, and especially the hate that she felt for him and was fighting to kill him. And the only thing that stopped her from killing him was when the ground, you know, tore them apart and
Split
everything.
apart.
Well, she witnessed him kill a legend.
Right, exactly,
Like,
and a father, and somebody who was becoming a father figure to her.
Yeah. Or
So
uncle.
I'm interested to see.
uncle.
I'm hoping that her journey isn't just like I'm going to be a cool Jedi. It's actually being tempted by the dark side,
cool Jedi.
like actually exploring both of the paths
Well, you can-
and having like a real sense of stakes going
You
on.
could see
there.
it in Kylo Ren's face though, like he saw the temptation of the light side because now he's seeing like, oh shit, this girl basically beat me. Granted, he was injured. He got shot in the leg with a Wookiee bowcaster, which, for all intents and purposes, blew up other people.
Yep.
And he got
Pussy.
stabbed in the arm, and which once again,
Yeah.
like I can talk about the saber fight forever because it was so fucking good. But the fact that she beat him. She's a non-Jedi. She just shows up, and he's like, crap. Maybe this light side. There's something to this light side thing.
Well, I also like that his like almost dorky, half-hearted attempt to be like, "Come train with me." That it even seems to be more like Kylo Ren really.
He wants a friend.
Well, not even that. He seems like somebody who really wants to reenact the last trilogy, and there's almost a meta aspect to it where he idolizes Vader so much he almost wants to reenact his life. It's like, I want to be you, so I want to have the moment where I tempt a light side away and like I want to do the Sith thing. I want to do it so bad, even to the point where I almost feel like just to live that narrative, he revolted against Luke and formed his own order because it was like, well, if I can't be the Jedi hero, I have to be one of the heroes.
Yeah, he sort of like represents a lot of the like Star Wars fanboys.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. You're right. It is kind of super meta. I love the fact that he is like this kind of Sith groupie. Like it's kind of funny.
We haven't talked about Snoke at all, and I'm really
Snoke is
interested
super
to,
cool.
to hear theories on Snoke.
I love that Snoke's not a Sith, or at least not apparently a Sith.
Well,
we don't actually know that yet.
the-
We didn't think
theory-
Palpatine was a Sith.
Well, the theory is that he's Plagueis.
Yeah.
Right.
Which once again, everyone's
whoa.
like, who the fuck's Plagueis?
That's
like,
cool.
That's Palpatine's master that
Yeah.
They picked him once in the
that
prequels.
Well, that apparently Palpatine killed.
Yeah.
So he. Oh, hero, pick up.
I'm going.
Oh, get it.
Darth Plagueis.
Oh, get it. Sleepy rocks. Jump up the rocks.
Oh,
All right, there we go. Jeez. Anyway, so
Leia.
So,
Han Solo, R.I.P.
so that's
Fuck
a good
it.
theory that he's Plagueis,
Right.
that he's Palpatine's master that actually comes back from the dead.
Snow outfit.
And that's why he looks like a zombie. That's why he has this ridiculous wound in his head, and like
Well, so
his
he's
cheeks are all fucked up.
He's the one they mention during that scene where Anakin's like, what do they do? They're like,
Whoa.
Why is she in snow gear?
because they didn't want to make new clothes. Work is hard. so we quit.
Episode 4, the
Shooting
new
me in the
clothes.
missile already.
Focusing, yeah. So there's that scene. It's actually probably one of the better scenes in episode 3, where what's his name, Darth Sidious, Palpatine, whatever the hell. He's telling Anakin about like he tells him this story and there's like this crazy weird
give us
like
the shield.
Final Fantasy-esque like water show going on, and he's talking about this Jedi or this Sith who like found a way to like beat death, right? And then he says, and then his apprentice killed him in his sleep. But what everyone's telling me now is like the takeaway from that was that he's the one who killed him.
Yeah. Well,
So-
he looked so smug while he was talking
No,
about
yeah,
it.
but
Right.
he
I mean,
was
he
his,
did.
He was his apprentice.
Fucking
yeah,
get
like
out of the
that.
shit.
So he does say that, right?
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
in the he doesn't say it in those movies, but in the extended universe, he was the apprentice of Plagueis. But the weird thing about that is, he killed him when he was elected Chancellor, like Supreme Chancellor, which is pretty far into like that's during episode 2.
yeah, yeah.
Well, because the way he's telling the story sounds like it happened like
long
thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
When the implication was that it happened like last week.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So the thought is that this guy who's all scarred up and looks fucked up is like he actually survived and he found a way to actually beat death.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Which is kind of a cool way to throw back to give a nod to the prequels and being like, hey, we actually added the like we recognize the cool stuff like the clones and Plagueis and stuff like that. Like, okay, neat.
So I'm just really interested to find out how Snoke reveals himself in the Star Wars universe, because he just sort of appears, right, as the I guess the head of the First Order.
Do you think he's a 15-foot tall monster or just a 15-foot tall
He's a hologram.
No, he's a hologram.
I like that they did that because
yeah,
it fooled me.
It definitely fooled me.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, it definitely fooled me. And I was like, this is dumb. He's a giant CG monster. And then his hologram went away. And I was like, oh.
Oh, thank God.
Goodness.
I loved how like intimidating they tried to make him.
Yeah.
I love that.
I thought they succeeded.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Yeah.
And
no, I mean like him as a character. I mean like I'm big, you're small, and we're in this dark room, and I want to be super imposing on you. And I was like, what a smart way of doing that. That was so cool.
And I'm really excited to find out kind of what Andy Serkis does with the character, because
Yeah.
he's such a good actor.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
such a good actor.
Jeez. But
Although I will say Snoke is a dumb name.
absolutely, it's a dumb name. I think it's really.
You snoking tonight?
Poe's a dumb name. I still
Yeah,
think
it's
he's
a
awesome.
dumb name until he's cool, and
Yeah.
then he makes it a cool name.
Well, also it's Poe Dameron. Dameron's a good name.
Yeah, Dameron is a good name.
Yeah, it's apparently named after J.J. Abrams' like intern or something like that.
Really?
I was like, I feel bad for that kid because he's like probably working at a Starbucks right now. He's like,
Well, that was me.
hey, that really cool character you like, named after me. Like, shut up, barista.
Give me my coffee.
I don't know.
Shut up,
Something tells me
Chad
that-
Dameron.
Something tells me that J.J. Abrams' intern, J.J. Abrams liked enough to name a Star Wars character after doesn't have to sweat it too much.
Sure. Well, his 4-year-old, or his friend of like 4 years, ever since he was a 4-year-old boy, whatever, Greg Grunberg gets in like everything that he does.
Oh, Greg Grunberg.
He's a new Porkins.
He is, and he's not dead, so he's probably going to show up in episode 8.
Well,
damn
here's the
it.
thing. They showed him fly in, but they didn't show him fly out, and they didn't show him
fine.
die.
No, he's fine.
fine.
He's Greg
I just- that's
Grunberg.
something I
When you
noticed.
get Greg Grunberg, you don't let him die.
He died in the first episode of Lost. That was about it.
He
He's going
stands.
to be on Heroes.
He stands out so much in a scene, and every single thing J.J. Abrams does, he
Yeah.
stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
So I always noticed him, and I noticed that he was flying in, and when they showed everyone checking in on the flight out, he wasn't there.
Oh, boy.
I was like, okay, interesting.
He's fine. He'll
He's
be
fine. Yeah, I think he's on the ground at some. I think he's walking on the ground. Later, I don't care.
Why don't you get points as Leia for dropping power?
Yeah,
for people?
seriously, you
That's
should be.
bullshit.
You're like basically doing the most crucial objective assistance right now, but because you're not running out there killing stormtroopers, which would be pointless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a galaxy
agree.
far, far away.
Let's see if I can do some damage.
Women
to this
can't
motherfucker.
vote.
You have 1 health.
Hey, get
I
out of
know.
there, man.
I'm
She's
whatever.
sacrificing
We're,
herself.
Shoot the
we're
neck,
doing
shoot the
damage
neck,
to the.
Shoot the neck.
I thought it was just the underside.
Shoot the underside.
There we go.
Oh.
Zap.
Yeah.
We were moving up the map anyway, and I
He
wasn't.
flies away.
Going back to the saber fight though, is like one of the things that I really liked about it was someone pointed out after we saw the movie, they're like, yeah, the sabers look like they were like heavy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like they looked like they had weight to it, and I was like,
Well, it's the
not only that, but like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's just the difference in sword fighting style.
Yeah,
All
you
the-
were mentioning is more medieval.
Yeah, Kylo Ren wields his sword like a giant two-handed bastard sword, which is great. It
Yeah.
makes sense, you know.
In
But
context, yeah.
in like episode 1, it's super floral, very very Asian, very kung fu,
Yeah.
which
And
makes it look cool. But yeah, you get more of the like anger and the weight from the way Kylo Ren fought.
But then you also, because of that scene, the way it was, like it had physical and emotional weight.
Nice.
Oh, that guy's really dead.
I want to. Oh, people are gonna take it.
Well, yeah, because it was so intense. It was like.
Well, there was
brutal.
meaning behind it. Whereas, like, I don't know, when they fought Dooku in episode 2, it's sort of like, hey, you're old. You want to die? And then
Yeah.
it's like, you can't take 2 Jedi at once. He took 2 Jedi at once.
Oh, I
you
killed
can't
you.
beat this CGI gremlin.
Oh, I killed you.
And then like
That must be how cool Dooku is. He's
Man.
just so cool.
everything just felt so floaty and so fake and
Yeah.
so like it just felt like CGI. And like whereas this movie, like I don't think there was as much emotional feelings behind a lightsaber fight ever since Luke fought Vader.
Yeah,
Again, we
man.
talked about this morning. Everything
Oh,
everything
shit, bad
felt
idea.
real. When she
Oh,
was dragging when Rey was dragging her parts in the net, it was clearly fucking heavy. When Finn tried to lift, I think it was Finn tried to lift up BB-8, and he wasn't it
Oh, yeah, it was too
like
heavy.
chunked
Yeah.
on him because it's a fucking droid. Of course, it's really heavy. Like
Yeah, even just like the weird like donkey robots in the background. Look at that one weird robot that like pokes Rey and he's like, meh, 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 meh. And
yeah.
he's like, he just looks, everything looks heavy.
Yeah,
it
it was
looks
good.
real.
I forgot to tell you guys, there's a theory, you probably already read it at some point, but the staff that she carries around is apparently a Force relic. And
interesting.
it could be the staff, I want to Google it. I'm probably wrong about this, but it could be the staff of Plagueis.
I think actually you are
A staff
100%.
of-
This goes back to Celebration,
Yeah.
the convention we all went to.
Plural, man. Celebrations.
Celebrations, fucking nerds.
Were you celebrating?
Which I went to. But I remember I went with Blaine, and he was saying, he pointed out that I think they had a sign up, and it did say like Staff of Plagueis or something, and they took it down because they were like, oh shit, and
Yeah.
like they hit it, and he was like, I don't think I was supposed to see that.
So yeah, she's not like, so she has this staff, and it looked like it might have been given to her, and maybe not found, but she carries it around everywhere she goes, and it's her thing. So I'm really interested to find out how that plays. It's going to play in at some point, and so it may not even be a lightsaber. It may just be a staff, which is really.
Oh no,
fucking
I was
cool.
just saying. I was saying, yeah, there's staff, but I think like when she eventually builds her own lightsaber, like
Well, that's what I'm saying. The staff may be her weapon of choice.
Oh,
It
interesting.
may not be a lightsaber, which I think is really cool. And actually, the only reason I think it's cool is because of what they did with the Stormtroopers' weapon against Finn,
how rad
which was
that?
so fucking cool.
That
taking a
doesn't
photo?
target vehicles.
Oh. That's a vehicle?
The homing shot only targets human.
Organic.
It'll go away. There it goes.
Great.
nice, perfect game. First game of the year.
Whoa!
Oh, you hit him.
Didn't get points
Didn't
or
go,
anything.
but-
Didn't matter. Look,
Great.
And then you got blood.
Somebody was
for that
behind me. Great. Cool. That's great.
Interesting. Yeah, ultimately this is the fun thing. I've spent about a week now, or feels like a week, speculating
Ooh.
what could happen in the next one. And like that's a sign of just a good movie.
I totally
Yeah.
agree, and it's a sign of like first of all, we knew what was going to happen. And again, I didn't care in between episode 1 and
Yeah.
episode 2 what
yeah.
was
Also,
going to happen.
well, I was gonna say also
For me, it was
fuck you to
mostly-
everyone who is trying to spoil the movie for everyone. It
Yeah.
wasn't.
Oh
that,
yeah, seriously.
It wasn't that big of a deal, but it's like go fuck yourself. You don't have anything better to do than to like
Yeah.
spoil a movie for somebody.
So you posted
Jack
on
Daniels.
Twitter, and I posted both on Twitter and Instagram that I was going to be off of social media so I wouldn't spoil it. I came back last night to social media, and the top 2 or 3 comments on my Instagram post all had major the biggest spoilers for the movie. And there was like a long discussion of like people.
You're gonna
yelling
die
at these
sad and
guys, like,
alone.
That's
you,
fucking
You
assholes.
individuals.
It's kind of a bullshitty thing to do.
Yeah,
Why
like-
does that make you feel cool?
I don't know. Like and like personally for me too, it's like kind of funny. Like I think someone spoiled it like almost like I don't know a couple days before the movie came out.
You and I saw the same
Yeah,
thing.
it came in and I was like half asleep. I'm just looking at my Twitter feed. I'm like, I saw Han Solo with, like a red light, and I was like, oh. But in my mind, I'm like, good. Like this, I wanted this. I wanted this to happen. So I'm not like, I wasn't gonna go and be like, how dare you? The whole like, cause I'm like, movie's not gonna be ruined. There's a lot of stuff, but I'm just more of like, this makes me sad that there are people who like. I saw that one kid. I stupidly quote retweeted him, but he's like, now that I've seen the movie, it's my goal to ruin it for everyone. It's like. I don't know, man. Like, I hope you break your leg out of the theater.
One of the things I
don't
will
know.
say about that is that if it had been spoiled for me, like The Sixth Sense was spoiled for me, and it didn't change how I felt about the movie. It was still like a really intense watching experience.
Like you're saying, if a movie lives and dies by its twist, it's not very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and I would. Well, no, I mean, yes and
Oh,
no.
I would say
like
that.
I would say that
I knew
like,
it going in, and I still enjoyed the movie a lot.
I could foresee what was going to happen, knowing what Harrison Ford has said about his character.
Joel has the Force.
Knowing
Joel has
like
the Force.
the foreshadowing of Han and Leia's conversation.
Woo!
Like I
Woo!
kind of
VV.
VVV.
figuring out what was going to
Killed
happen.
by yourself.
But it didn't mean that the scene was any less fucking incredibly
Yeah.
meaningful
Yeah.
and awesome and so well acted. Like, the biggest thing that I'm upset about not having Harrison Ford for is that he seemed to enjoy being in a movie for the first time in 20 years.
Yeah, he did. You're right.
He was in it a lot too.
And he had a good time, and it was really fun to watch him.
Well, like based on the trailer stuff, did you think he was just gonna show up and peace out and be like?
kind
did.
of.
Yeah.
I kind of did,
He ended
actually.
up being in like more than half the movie. You're like, this is a Han Solo movie.
Yeah,
This
he's
is
like
pretty cool.
he's the protagonist.
Yeah.
It's really great.
He got top billing too, which is pretty cool.
And I mean, like, obviously the dynamic between him and Chewie was just perfect.
So good.
It was perfect.
So this was funny. Like we started watching Return of the Jedi I want to go see Force Awakens for a third time, so I wanted to watch Return of the Jedi. I was telling Joel this earlier. A sign of a good movie is when it makes its predecessors better. So going back and watching it and seeing like when Han loses eyesight and he's hanging out with Chewie and Chewie's just holding him, like that scene has more weight now because if you know how that relationship ends. You're like, that's fucking good. Like Terminator 1 is a better movie because of Terminator 2. Yeah. Because you can go back and go, oh wow, I didn't notice that. And now you go back and rewatch any of the original trilogy, now you're gonna be like, oh wow, like that. These things are better now. That's fucking good. Good job, J.J. Abrams. I want to suck your dick.
I've watched a lot of Battlefront. One of the things I enjoy most about Battlefront is actually pretending that this is like real scenes in the movie. And I like the idea that rebel troops or stormtroopers are running around like it's like into walls, like totally ineffectively doing shit.
It's guerrilla warfare.
It's canon.
There goes Jump Pack Man.
Yeah.
Damn it.
That guy always kills you. Like literally always.
He's always behind me too. Fuck you! Damn it.
And Jimmy Boy.
He's at the same fucking stupid weapon.
Can you
too.
jump onto the AT-AT?
I don't know.
Can you get onto its back? Time to find out.
I think so. I've seen people ride it
just-
before.
Just talking about stormtroopers, like in the movie, I really love that the stormtroopers had personality.
Yeah.
I like that there was like comedic moments.
I like that too.
I like that. I love that moment when he throws his gun down. He goes traitor, and he pulls out the fucking
Yeah, because he's pissed.
yeah, and he like
I
wants
would be pissed too if I was a stormtrooper. Like,
Yeah.
and I see this guy like defect.
Yeah, we had to go through so much shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say they both gone through a bunch of shit, and this guy just bails out, and he's like fighting for the other side.
Especially like when you can like if you actually take time to think about what they imply, which is that they're taken as babies.
Yeah.
They go through like total conditioning. Like these are your brothers in fucking arms. Like these are the people that like went through hell with you. They're like your fraternity brothers.
And then he bails.
And he bails like a fucker.
This reminds me of, I guess, my one true criticism.
Oh,
Phasma.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not
She
enough
was
Yeah,
Phasma.
we talked about that.
Okay, so-
such a bummer.
What? Like, that's... all they did was put a gun up to arguably who's supposed to be so important
The
that she
best
stands up on
stormtrooper's
stage next to the most influential people in the entire order.
Yeah.
And they go, if you don't turn off the shields for this entire planet, we'll kill you. And she's like, whatever you want.
also-
right?
so,
Right? Like,
yeah.
that... That they couldn't figure out something else there to do, or any other character.
No.
She's unless something amazing happens, she's ruined for the rest of this trilogy for me.
I was
Like,
hoping she was gonna be like the Tarkin of this movie. I mean, obviously, like what Dex or Wex or Wax.
her
or
role up to that point was
Hux-
great.
Hux-
She was going to be the person that ultimately Finn was going to have to find himself accountable to because
Right.
she feels responsible. There's a hero token right next to you. Right next to you.
I didn't murder that guy first.
Yes.
Princess
She's
Leia.
the one.
Don't be Princess Leia.
Be Luke.
She's
you
the
go.
one who I thought like she's gonna be like,
He's dead now.
you were responsible for like I was supposed to handle you
like a disappointed
Yeah.
mother.
yeah, and now I'm gonna have to utterly destroy you and everything you care about because of it. But then the next time we see her, they're like, turn off the shields. And she's like, anything. Yeah, just put me in the trash compactor.
She pretty much goes. Yeah, she pretty much is like, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble, and it's like, okay. But going back to what we were saying before, like I don't want to be an apologist and be like, I don't want to talk about like what could be because we don't know. My hope is that they just set her up and that there's something bigger going on that she was like, I don't give a shit about this base. Like,
I did.
That's
We-
what they
once again-
clearly do. But
Yeah, yeah,
until they
which-
do that, they
yeah, that's
ruin that. They ruined her in that movie.
it will be funny to go back, a year and a half from now and go back and see like what we were saying, and then like say Phasma becomes this like badass bounty hunter, or maybe she's actually working for the rebellion.
God, that's a bounty
I
hunter.
don't
That'd
know.
be fucking rad.
Yeah, I don't know. She could just be a free agent, or
the-
it doesn't really make sense in the context that they put her up because she's the leader of the stormtroopers.
Well, yeah, but if she gets like, because she ultimately failed, like she's huge failure on her hands, and if they like take her out and they basically say like you're not in position anymore, and she has to sort of fend for herself, that'd be kind of cool. I will say, my question is, how far into production of the next movie are they? Do they have a script?
I
Is
don't know.
anything done?
I have no
So
idea.
the movie's a year and a half away.
Yeah.
My guess is they have been shooting it.
Yeah.
Like if they have any scenes back in Jakku, they're not going to break down the set and then put it back up again.
Well,
So
we saw some of those flash forwards and flashbacks or whatever. I think those are scenes that they've shot. They've shot extra stuff that they were going to use, like the Knights of Ren and the Rain and stuff like
Yeah,
that. You're
yeah.
going to see a lot of that. And then
who are the Knights of Ren?
There are other Jedi, or I guess people that.
Where are they?
It's-
What's their deal?
Yeah, we don't. I want to know all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like once again, like go back and watch that movie and watch the fast forward or the
Force.
premonition. Yeah,
The
the
vision.
Force vision.
Yeah.
And like with like things we're seeing now where you, what were you saying? They cut lines from Alec Guinness to
Yeah.
actually like say
Alec-
Ray.
Yeah, they chopped a lineup from episode 4 to get the word Ray. Yeah, this thing is nearly impossible to use.
But they
great,
but they
doesn't
got
do shit.
Ian McGregor to do voice work, like to do like one line in that Force Vision thing, and like you hear Yoda's voice and stuff like that. I'm like,
It's funny because I didn't hear. Like again, I've only seen it once, and I need to pay attention to it next
There's
time I
a
see
lot
it,
of
but
sound-
It seems so sinister. It seemed way more sinister. Like the dark side was saying, "You've taken your first step."
No, well,
whatever it
I don't
is.
know about that one. But regardless, at the beginning of the vision, it says somebody says energy, which I don't know who it is exactly. First steps. There's definitely Obi-Wan in there. I don't know if first steps. If it sounds like first steps is said by Obi-Wan as well.
Yeah, well, it's all blended together. They all say the line, and it
so-
kind of dips through all of them.
Another important part of that vision is the hallway she's in.
Yeah.
That's a hallway we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, right.
And I'm very curious. It could be. I don't know. It looks like the cell block from the first.
It does.
Star, but
That's what I thought.
but I don't. It's
well,
obviously
it
not.
all kind of goes back to Empire.
Maybe
Strikes
she's a
Back,
clone,
where,
and that's where she was made.
Nah. It's the lowest big contractors are building everything in that world.
well, but then also they drop her off
They made
with
Star
that
Killer
guy
movies?
who does the portions or whatever.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
like, "Three like it's his voice being like, "Come, girl," and it's like,
Yeah.
so he raised her, like
I would bet.
because they set him up as kind of like this bad guy, but he was probably watching her.
I bet. Well, sort of. I bet that they dumped her on him, and he probably took care of her for like 4 or 5 years, and then got tired of it.
Yeah,
and was
just
like,
like,
okay,
do it.
you're old enough. You go work now.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's sort of what I think.
Which also just the whole opening. I was saying this like. There's more cinematography and character development in the first like 5 minutes of introducing her than there was in all of episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Some of those visuals are just so
Yeah.
Her
perfectly.
sitting, her with the helmet sitting next to a fallen over AT-AT, like,
Ah.
god damn it, like, thank you, fucking thank you for like making it look like a world that's lived in.
So there was all the speculation that the movie was going to open with the Battle of Jakku, and it didn't.
No, not at all.
So
No.
you've read the books? What
don't-
what
they
happens
don't-
during the Battle of Jakku?
They don't describe that.
That's like
You
the
need
end,
to
the
play
ultimate
it in
end
the
of
video
the
game.
end of the Empire, right?
I haven't read the book. Well, it's not the end of the Empire because we just
Well, 'cause
discussed,
it-
just
yeah.
talked about politics. But
Right.
I haven't read anything yet. I don't know if there is any description of the Battle of Jakku. I think I read something that was happening. Like the book was so bad that I just like.
stopped.
Oh, damn.
No, I
Paying
finished.
attention, I mean?
I finished it. I just did. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. It was called Aftermath, but it was just another battle. Basically, it was just another large battle that was happening over this planet.
that was during Jedi.
That was during Jedi, and it was sort of like.
I thought it was just post Jedi.
And why do we know why Jakku was such an important location? Or
Oh,
Not really. I think it was just another Imperial outpost. That is, again, like I read the book and I don't remember.
that'd be kind of cool if there was like if we eventually. It's kind of cool if it's just another battle site. But
I think
there
it
are like
is.
2 or 3 Star Destroyers that are down
Yeah,
there,
they're
which is a
crashed down.
massive part of a fleet. So you would think that there's a reason that there's a big deal there.
Yeah, well, I in the Aftermath book, basically what happens is the Imperials that are there is a fleet there, and they have to run because they understand that the rebels won the battle at Endor, and they're coming to Jakku.
Okay.
So they have to run, and I think that whatever's left over, the few Star Destroyers are
Do
destroyed.
we know? Is it like? Yeah, I guess that matter. It's just if it's a base, but there's a reason the base is there. Like, why is that a strategic location?
Well, it could just be just another Imperial outpost. They have outposts all over the galaxy. Also, another important part that we were just talking about is that Coruscant wasn't destroyed. The Hosnian system was the name of the system. that
I thought it was Coruscant.
And it's multiple planets in the Hosnian.
But they
system?
they said it was the seat of the Republic, so I guess that moved away from
It did.
Coruscant.
It did.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people are speculating about that too. They're like, why
Nice.
is the Resistance, the army that they're using, goes back to? It sounded like they were trying to rebuild the Jedi Order, which is what was the flawed thing they had in the first 3 episodes that failed, and Luke was trying to build it, and they were going to rely on the Jedi Order again. But then Ren killed everyone.
Yeah, blew that up.
Kylo Ren.
Nice.
Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, the Resistance was Leia's brainchild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually I read
And
a
Bail Organa.
Thanks.
I read a thing.
Jimmy Smits.
I read something. It's okay. I read something describing the political climate between episodes 6 and 7, and it's interesting because according to the canon, the Empire never got defeated. It's just that after their defeat at Endor, more systems started to realize that the Empire could actually be fought against. So more systems formally joined the rebellion, to the point where the Empire had to strike a peace treaty. So the war was officially stopped, but the Empire never went away. They became the First Order, or rather, the First Order became like the remnants that didn't want to give up on the war.
It's like the militia, basically.
Yeah. So they went back and were
They
scheming.
went full Nazi in this one too.
Yeah, they did, which
great.
was awesome.
So good.
But
Show
so
loves Nazis.
they were forming.
Looks so
They've
sharp.
got style.
They were forming in the background for a number of years. Leia saw that, but couldn't mobilize an official army because they weren't an official army either. So she started the resistance in the background while also being a senator. And that's where you get that line in episode 7 where they're talking about the traitorous republics supporting the resistance in the shadows, because that's essentially what was happening. So they were forming a shadow army to fight this other shadow army, and the conflict had never really boiled over yet.
It's kind of Cold War-esque.
A little bit.
Kind of cool. And then they're
Pretty
just,
cool.
And then
It's kind of like
It
World
makes
War
me
I leading
excited
to
to like
World War
learn
II.
more about the world again for the first time in my life, like 25 years. Like I want to, like if there are good books, I would like to read them, or at least the Wikipedia entries explaining what's going on.
It's funny. I didn't really have an issue with the pacing of episode 7 or anything, but there were a couple times where like things would settle down, and I'm like, all right, give me some of that sweet, sweet lore. I want to know what's going on in this world. And then like something would get unleashed on the ship, and then everyone would have to run from it.
Yeah.
And it'd be an awesome action set piece. But like I'd be like, oh no, you were gonna talk. You were gonna tell me you was gonna have answers, or at least some sort of clue or something.
That actually, I mean, total kind of sidetrack. We can get back to the lore in just a second, but that actually really reminds me that for the first, another thing they did really well was the actual set. The sets design were amazing, and for the first time in Star Wars, it felt really claustrophobic and kind of scary to be on these ships, where like they're really like narrow corridors, and there's like the interior guts of the ship are running, and you don't know where you're going, especially again on Han Solo's transport ship or whatever. Like all that kind of stuff was really atmospheric and cool to me. Anyway, back to the lore, because I agree, I want more lore.
Well, guess what? We have to end the pod.
Never mind!
Because it's been about an hour.
Well, now I'm going to go see the movie again.
I know. I'm really excited to see the movie again, too.
Yeah.
I much like episode, it feels like I can finally kind of put myself in somebody that saw episode 4 for the first time, where there's all these hints like, what's a Senate? What is that?
Yeah.
And the movie has enough texture that you can kind of poke around in every scene visually and pick up on hints.
But thankfully, we have BB-8 oranges now and R2D2 coffee creamer to get us through the lull.
I was gonna say, like, one of the things we do have is, so the
One.
episode 4 was in theaters for a year, but we'll have DVDs to be able to like pause and pour over and like look at stuff and read the internet and see like cool speculation, and like there's a pre-built online community to go to.
Well, there's another
to
movie.
freak out about stuff.
There's another movie coming out in a year too.
I'd say, yeah.
Like the Blu-ray will be out in 6 months. I don't know. Is it weird that this is something that is like so commercial, but it's so universally loved? And
Man,
like,
it always has been. Star Wars got marketed the fuck out of it when it first came out.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, no, but I mean, no, that's what I mean. Like
What?
Star Wars as a property is like this thing that is like, it is the definition of sellout. But god damn it, I love
That's
it.
because it's so good.
And there's
Yeah.
something amazing about something that's a pop culture, pan culture. Everybody likes it. Like that's an incredible testament to how good it is.
No.
Hey, that's it.
All right.
That's
All
it.
right,
Podcast
hey.
is over.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a happy holidays. Happy New
Watch and
Year.
listening.
Lawrence, when the robot revolution comes,
And it will.
which part of your body will be the first to be replaced?
And you
And they were talking like an arm, like no brain. Absolutely.
That makes no sense.
Take my human soul away as fast
I feel like
as
the
you
whole
can.
point of like getting robot parts is you get to keep your brain.
Guys,
but your dick works real good.
No, yeah, the answer is penis.
Absolutely, your penis.
Come on, robot penis every time. Jeez.
I mean, like it's fine now, but it could be better, right?
way better.
Yeah, I mean,